To Catch a Thief is a 1955 romantic thriller directed by Alfred Hitchcock, from a screenplay by John Michael Hayes based on the 1952 novel of the same name by David Dodge. The film stars Cary Grant as a retired cat burglar who has to save his reformed reputation by catching a new cat preying on the wealthy tourists of the French Riviera. Grace Kelly stars opposite him as his romantic interest in her final film with Hitchcock. Plot: John Roby is a retired infamous jewel thief or cat burglar, nicknamed the Cat, who now tends to his vineyards in the French Riviera. The modus operandi of a recent series of robberies leads the police to believe that the Cat is involved. They attempt to arrest him, and he adeptly gives them the slip. He seeks refuge with the old gang from his French resistance days, a group paroled based on patriotic war work as long as they keep clean. Bertini, Forçade, and the others blame Roby while they are all under suspicion while the Cat is at large. Still, when the police arrive at Bertini's restaurant, Forçade's daughter Danielle spirits her old flame to safety. Roby's plan is to prove his innocence by catching the new cat burglar in the act. So he enlists the aid of an insurance man of Bertini's acquaintance, an Englishman H. Hewson, who reluctantly obtains a list of the most expensive jewels currently on the Riviera. Jessie Stevens and her daughter Frances top the list. Roby strikes up an acquaintance with them, delighting Jessie even as Frances offers a pretense of modesty. Roby and Frances meet Danielle at the beach, and Roby must keep up the pretense of being a rich American despite Danielle's preference that he be separated from Frances. Frances is not afraid of a little mischief. Although she sees through Roby's cover as an American industrialist, the considerable charms of this thief are worth catching. She dangles before him her jewels, teases him with steamy tales of rooftop escapades, exposes herself as a feline of a special breed, an accomplice who might share his passion and be available to his sordid desires. Fireworks fill the night sky. The next morning, Jessie discovers her jewels are gone. Roby is accused by Frances of being used to steal her mother's jewelry. The police are called but he is back on the lam. To catch the new burglar, Roby stakes out an estate at night and finds himself struggling with an attacker who loses his footing and tumbles over a cliff. It is Forçade who dies in the fall. The police chief publicly announces that Forçade was the jewel thief, but, as Roby points out to him in the presence of the abashed Hewson, this would have been impossible. Forçade had a prosthetic leg and could not possibly climb on rooftops. Forçade's funeral is marred by Danielle's open accusation with Roby's quiet attendance that he is responsible for her father's death. Outside the graveyard, Frances apologizes to Roby and confesses for him her love. Roby wants to continue his search for the cat, and asks that she arrange his attendance at the masquerade ball the coming weekend, during which he believes will strike again. At the ball, Frances is resplendent in a gold gown, Roby unrecognizable behind the mask of a Moor. The police hover nearby. Upstairs, the cat burglar silently cleans out several jewel boxes. When Jessie asks the Moor to go get her heart pills, Roby's voice tips off his identity to the authorities. Upon his return, the police wait out Frances and the Moor as they dance the night away. Finally, Frances and the Moor go to her room, and the mask is removed. It is Hewson, switched to conceal Roby's exit. On the rooftop, Roby lurks. His patience is finally rewarded when he is joined by another figure in black. But just as his pursuit begins, the police throw a spotlight on him and demand he halt. He flees as they shoot at him, but he manages to corner his foe with jewels in hand. Unmasked, his nemesis turns out to be Forçade's daughter, Danielle. She slips off the roof, but Roby grabs her hand before she can fall. He forces her to confess to the police of the father-daughter involvement and that Bertini was the ringleader of this gang. Roby speeds back to his vineyard and Frances races after to convince him that she has a place in his life. He agrees, but seems less than thrilled that she intends to include her mother. Cast: Cary Grant is John Roby. Grace Kelly as Frances Stevens, Jesse Royce Landis as Jesse Stevens, John Williams as H. Hewson, Charles Vanel as Monsieur Bertoni, Bridget Orber as Danielle Faussard, Jean Martinelli as Faussard, Danielle's father, Georgette Ennis as Germaine, housekeeper, René Blanchard as Commissaire Lepic. Alfred Hitchcock makes his signature cameo approximately 10 minutes in as a bus passenger sitting next to Cary Grant. Despite Bridget Ober's character being referred to as a girl, or teenager, compared to Grace Kelly's supposedly more mature character, Orber was actually 26 years old at the time of filming and more than a year and a half older than Kelly. Production. This was Hitchcock's first of 5 films in the widescreen process VistaVision, and final film with Grace Kelly. The film also led to another successful collaboration with Cary Grant, the 1959 classic North by Northwest. The costumes were by Edith Head, including Kelly's memorable golden gown for the film's costume ball. Distribution. To Catch a Thief is the only Hitchcock film released by Paramount that is still owned and controlled by the company. The others were sold to Hitchcock in the early 1960s and are currently distributed by Universal Studios. Awards. The film won an Academy Award and was nominated in another 2 categories. 1 Best Cinematography. Nominated Best Art Direction. Best Costume Design. Bibliography. DeRosa, Stephen. Writing with Hitchcock. The collaboration of Alfred Hitchcock and John Michael Hayes. Faber and Faber. ISBN 0571199909. Orengo, Nico. La Guerra del Basilico. Einaudi. ISBN 8806182996-X. Spotto, Donald. The Dark Side of Genius. Da Capo. ISBN 0-306-80932-X.